She's very much like in her videos. She swears she's a mom of 3 kids, and she has mom guild, and she goes through all of that. But she's really successful in what she does as a loan officer.
Yeah.
And she knows it, and she also knows that she's not for everyone, and this is her brand, and this is a community that she built, and she has a bunch of followers on Instagram. But she created this brand for herself, and it's I think it's pretty powerful.
Man, I think you just said it that she's not for everyone, and she knows it. I think people that grasp that concept, their quality of life is so much better.
What do you mean?
So really, when it comes to selling a product or owning a business, you're constantly dealing with people.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to like your product. When you think of some of your best clients or your best transactions, the majority of them, you had a pretty cool like connection with them.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to the rapport.
Yeah.
So when people really identify that not everyone is for them, they're no longer going to be upset when they see someone go with another person in their field. I see constantly business owners get upset because someone didn't use them. Someone didn't buy from me. Like, I'm a photographer. You didn't use me for your photos. I won't say nothing to you, but, I'm upset.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, they could have used me.
Yeah.
When you grasp the idea of that's not my target client.
Yeah.
You let go of that heaviness of they don't want to use me.
So I'm going to get vulnerable, right? I'm thinking about so in my business, I'm a referral, right? Referral, word of mouth, reviews, all that fun stuff. But typically the way that as a loan officer, we get the majority of our business is through real estate agents because they're boots on the ground. Even though in the process, someone's looking for a loan, they have to get pre-approval before they start looking. So they have to come to me first. So along the way, before I got into the business, there was like this thing where it goes real estate agent, then loan officer. And my thought process should be a loan officer get pre-approved and then real estate agent. Right? It just makes sense. But anyway, so there was this rule created along the way that you have to refer 3 lenders to your client. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where
That's Massachusetts.
Yeah, is that a law? No,
it's not a law, but it's I forgot
You're
what
covering it. So it's so that you don't violate a violation, right?
Yeah.
You don't violate a violation, RESPA violation of referral fee. Like you give me a lead and I pay you.
Yeah.
But if you have if I have a loan officer or someone that I know is going to click with you, I'm going to send them to this person. I'm not going to give them 3 different people that they can potentially choose from if I know that 2 of them they're not going to click with. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. But
right?
legally, you have to still give them the options.
No. You just can't.
Resperly. You said RESPA?
RESPA.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, but there's, as long as you don't get paid a fee, essentially speaking.
Like no kickbacks.
No kickbacks. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I work with real estate agents that don't necessarily refer 3 people, that just refer them to me.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how that goes.
Yeah.
It's my goal to obviously, 1, build a relationship with my buyer so that they feel comfortable in the fact that I'm helping them buy a house, and also that they understand the concept that I'm not just going to say, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. I'm going to give you all the tools and the resources and give my opinion and my advice on this area so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that you're educated in the process, because when I know when I did it, I had a great relationship with my real estate agent, Shayla Perez. She did phenomenal, but my loan officer was trash.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure people have a great experience.
Yeah. So how do you deal with the idea of someone not using you for your services? Someone that you know.
I'll give you an example. This actually recently happened to me. And so what happened, essentially speaking, I got a lead from someone that it's an agent that I know, and then the referral is someone that I know as well. Got the file, did everything I did. Hey, this is what we need to do with XYZ. We can't do anything until you hit XYZ, right? Mm-hmm. So I gave her the tools. I'm continuing to see them, follow up, blah, blah, blah. it comes to the point where I have to make a phone call and say, hey, we did everything that we can, but we still have to wait a little bit longer because we're just waiting for the bureaus to talk to the report and all that fun stuff. I could tell over the phone that she was frustrated. And I was like, hey, I get you're frustrated, but this is just part of the process, right? There's nothing I can do to expedite it. It's just kind of the things that we need to do to get you there. And she was like, okay. So I left that conversation. Then I jumped into, then I brainstormed and I was like, oh, I have an idea. So I came up with the idea. I talked to the agent about it. And then in that conversation, I found out that she referred her to someone else on Friday or Wednesday now. Friday to Wednesday, no one, agent, client, told me that took place.
Fun.
Right? So I found out about it and I'm like having this conversation. And I wasn't mad at the fact that she was using someone else. I was upset at the fact that no one communicated to me that they were using someone else.
Yeah.
If you were using someone else, then I would be like, okay, that's fine. But that was never communicated. So I just feel like communication in our line of work is super important, right? And being able to say, hey, this is the game plan for my client. This is what we're going to do, blah, blah, blah. That we're all informed. We're all in the same mindset rather than like me finding out afterwards. I ended up losing her as a client, which I'm cool with. I'm okay with that. I was just annoyed at the fact that like there was never a communication. There was never, hey, this was going on. It was just kind of like I found out on accident.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all it is.
When things like that happen, do you kind of think back on the whole transaction and maybe like for me, I would look back at it and be like, what could I have done differently to make this? Yeah,
I look back at it and I'm saying,
I do that with everything though.
Yeah, I think that's important. You have to self-reflect and evaluate. Like, hey, I do that as well. Yeah, I look back and I was like, hey, maybe I could have talked to her more, or maybe I felt like I did it though.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I went wrong. So in this situation, I don't know where I went wrong or what I could have did differently. To have a different result.
And it happens.
You know what I mean? And it is, and I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it. I was just kind of more frustrated at the fact that I was never communicated with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is what it is. It happens. My thought process is like, let's say I have a lead, right? And then I call 3 of my real estate friends and I'm like, hey, I have a lead, but I gave it to so and so and so and so. So just they'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
I'm sure as a real estate agent, but like, would you do that? Right? It's the same. It's kind of the same concept.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But that's my.
But I was in that same boat when I did insurance.
Yeah.
And I would get a text message from a real estate agent. Hey, I sent your number, and I sent to 2 other insurance companies. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
Now I gotta and it sucked for me because at the time when I worked for Liberty Mutual, their rates were terrible.
Yeah.
So I would lose every time.
Yeah, and that's tough, right? That's that tough internal battle of like, man, like you're going up for battle, but you're like you don't have as much resources as the other. Like,
welcome to the Winners Podcast. My name is Shannon. I'm joined today by my lovely co-host Zack Cameron.
What's up?
What up, y'all? We're running it live, but I used to get, like, hey, I sent your information to all these people. I was like, oh man, like I wasn't really big into insurance. Like I just got the job because it means to an end. Like I was working retail, the hours sucked.
Yeah.
Liberty Mutual was 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I did it. But then every time I get that referral, I'm like, okay, now I can get a sale. But now I'm up against like
you're working hard for it.
I'm up against Geico and Progressive.
Yeah.
Like at the time, Geico was killing, bro. I was like, I can't do nothing against this gecko. So that's what taught me how to really have people. I had to win people over. Like I needed people.
As far as like your referral agents or like your clients.
The client. Both.
Gotcha.
Both though.
Yeah.
So I needed to be like, okay, if you sent me a referral, because my target people were mortgage lenders.
Yeah.
So if you sent me a referral, at to one, first understand what your number's at. Like when you gave it a pre-approval, what number do you give for insurance? Because if you only put $75,
that's tough.
It's gonna throw everything off.
Yeah.
So I had to first ask, hey, what number did you give them?
Yeah.
75.
Yeah.
Like
I always start at 100. Is that fair? That's a good number, right? That's a good start. $100.
It depends where it is. But it's a good starting point.
It's a good starting point. It can sway either way.
Down. But I have some people that do $75, which depending on what insurance companies, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
So I used to be like, only with people I knew. I was like, how much swing do I have here?
Yeah.
Oh, we can probably go up to like 130. All right. So then my job, when I called the client, was to make you fall in love with me.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if I give you the number and you go back to your mortgage lender, oh, Shannon was great. I loved him. He made me laugh, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
If you as a lender, you hear that, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
this guy's taking care of my people.
Yeah.
So that was my MO. I was like,
winning the client over.
I had to win the client over every time.
And you can, I think, because we're in sales and we're good at talking to people and communicating to people, I think we can gauge that. I feel like I can gauge that over the phone if you made a connection with someone.
Yeah.
Based on how they started the conversation to how it ends. Not a lot of people can.
No, and it takes trial and error.
Oh,
like at first, I would take a number and just take a defeat. I'm like, oh, I sent the guy. I'm like, that sucked.
Yeah.
But then I was like, nah, I gotta make the best out of.
Yeah.
Life gives you lemons. I gotta make lemonade.
Man, make that lemonade. You know what's funny? What I started to do, and my process when I have the initial consultation with my buyers, I talk to them about like obviously it's all about them, figure out what they're looking to do. I talk to them a little bit about me, my kind of like story as far as like my experience with a loan officer. And then at the end of the conversation, based on if I feel like they can get a loan, I send them an email with everything I need for the pre-approval, my application that they can fill out online, and then also I put in the email, hey, you can follow me on Instagram and you can see all my videos on home buying tips. And I feel like from that to the next conversation, won them. Yeah. Because they saw my content, like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, and two, like, he's giving me tips and he answered a lot of the questions that I had based on my videos. Yeah. And I felt that my return or me winning them over is like far greater than when I first started, which is
it helps too because they feel like they know you.
Yeah.
They feel not necessarily know you, but when you see someone talking, see their videos, you get a sense. Okay.
Yeah, and
this
I'm
person
pretty
knows
like
what they're talking about.
I'm pretty consistent with like how I communicate in my videos and stuff like that, and how I portray myself. That I'm pretty consistent. What you see on social media is pretty much what you see on in person.
When I think one of the things when I think of every like good interaction that I had as a buyer, the majority of them I didn't have a good experience because I got a discount. Yeah. I think a lot of times in the past,
that's good. Yeah.
A lot of times a good experience was like, oh, let me find this person because they're gonna hook me up. Yeah. But hook me up turned into different as an adult. Hook me up. I need a person that's gonna do the job right. Yeah. Gonna be thorough. Gonna be detailed, and I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah. And then I think as salespeople, we don't like to be sold.
That too.
I hate being sold. So I had I helped someone buy a car, and we went to one place, and the person was very like, I was in the car business, so I know how it works. Slow paced, didn't like, just very not how I would have done it. And I really wanted to get out of there.
You're frustrated?
I was so frustrated. I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And then we left, and then the next place that we went, I said, hey, I was in the car business for a long time.
You just set the tone early?
I just set the tone.
I don't need the fluff.
I don't need the fluff. You don't have to win me over.
I hate the fluff.
We know the car that we want. Like, we know everything. We just have to make the numbers make sense. And then from there, she won me. She did perfect. She was like, all right, perfect. So typically we sell this car for $5,000 over sticker. For you, we'll sell it to you for MSRP. I'm like, okay. And then we looked at the car. I was like, you got to throw in all-weather floor mats. And she was like, no. And a couple more times, we kept smoothing, kept talking, blah, blah. Guess what I got?
You got the floor mats.
I got them floor mats for free.
You got sold, lady. Yep. Salesperson.
But it was a good interaction. She didn't, the fluff went out the window and we got it done. So I appreciated that.
But that's good. That's being able to adjust to the person you're talking to. Yeah. Some people don't have that ability to, like, I do this way. Yeah. This is the way we're going to do it. Yeah. The ability to be flexible. Yeah. If someone's like, oh, I need the fluff. All right, let's do it. Yeah. I won't, like, with a first time home buyer, I'm going to communicate it or explain things a certain way to them because it's the first time they're doing it compared to someone that's buying a home for the second time. Yeah. Like, they get it. They just want to make sure that they have a good experience, but like they know how it works. Yeah. For the most part. So changing that. One thing for me that I have to do better. Sometimes I'll meet with a client and they'll give me, let's say for a video, they'll have this video project in mind. They'll have all the details in mind. So when I hear them, sometimes they're using some words. I'm like, oh, they know what they're talking about. Yeah. When it comes to like video stuff. But when I sit down with them they only know like what's in their mind. So I have to always remind myself to like start at the beginning. It's like, all right, let me understand how much they know of what they're talking about so that I make sure I'm on the same page with them.
How do you gauge that though?
I just ask more questions to make sure that I'm understanding what they're saying.
Got
It's
it.
like, hey, when you say this, like, do you mean this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they say, yeah, no. So throughout the conversation, I'm just asking clarifying questions because this comes from experience. I've had situations where they say, you know, I want this type of shot, and I'll do what they said.
Yeah.
Because they use some keywords in the video world.
Yeah.
But then when I give them the product, this is the type of shot I want. I'm like, ah. But
So you feel like you missed the mark.
Yeah, because and I'm like, but you said this. So then it's on me. It's like, I'm the professional here. Like, this is my industry.
You should have.
So I had to ask clarifying questions to make sure that we're on the same page.
You know what's? We have a mutual friend, that he's very much like that. Like when we have a conversation with an idea or something like that, he's like, "You have any questions?
Yeah.
Do you need me to clarify anything?"
Yeah.
Like multiple times.
Yeah.
And then if he doesn't get the results that he wanted, he's like, well, "This is what I understood."
Where's the disconnect?
Yeah, where's the disconnect? So you know, being able to figure out the disconnect, or so that there isn't a disconnect, is super important.
Yeah, it's okay to ask questions. Like, hey, I just want to make sure. I'd rather over communicate.
Me too,
I'd rather be
man.
like, hey, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I had an example. I had a client that said, the quality's not there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when you say quality, what are you referring to? It came down to, it was a lighting issue. I was like, you can't say quality. I'm recording this in 4K. I'm recording this.
How much more?
Yeah, like I see your pores, like.
Yeah.
But it came down to, it was the lighting. Like he wasn't a fan of the angle of the lighting we did.
Got it.
So after conversation, we adjusted. It's perfect.
Got it.
It was simple.
Got it.
Clarification.
So do you like everyone that you work with?
No.
Okay. So
well. Now yes.
What do you?
Because I've been in business long enough. Most of the clients that I work with are people that I want to work with.
Okay. But that didn't start out that way. Obviously, when you first started, right?
Yeah, when I first started, I was just kind of taking on everybody because I was still finding my niche, my space of what I was doing.
Yeah.
Now that I know the space that I'm in, sometimes I'll have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah.
And the initial conversation, something's off. I was like, hey, I won't say it this way, but I don't think we'll work well together. Let me recommend this person to you.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily because I don't want to work with them. Maybe it's something that it's not within my field of work, whatever reason. I would just refer them to someone else.
Got it.
I only want to work with people that I enjoy working with.
Yeah, I agree. Like I tell this all the time. Like when I have coffee or like lunch with like 8 real estate agents, I'm like, hey, like I want to work with. I want to have an initial conversation with you or coffee, whatever the case may be. See if we even like each other. Because if we don't like each other, it doesn't make any sense for us to continue the relationship. So I want to work with people that I want to work with that like me. We can relate on certain things, whatever the case may be. But we wouldn't know them until we have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to work with people that respect. That there's mutual respect.
Exactly. And yes, that's so good. Wait, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
This is a curveball. So I'm your friend, but I'm also your client, right? You did a few of some big things for me, videos and pictures and stuff like that.
I still owe you the video.
It's okay. I didn't want to bring it up, but since you brought it up,
I'm gonna get it to you.
Like 2 months ago.
I'm talking about the gender reveal video.
My first kid. That's worse.
Yeah, I still have it somewhere.
That's wild.
I'll get it to you.
That was cool.
Point.
We did like a whole thing.
I'm gonna get it to you when she turns 3, just to make it.
That's funny. Keep it going.
Make it a surprise. Like,
this is what happened. Yeah. How hard is it to do business with your friends? Not do business, to provide a service to a friend.
For me, it's not hard, but I go about it carefully.
Yeah.
Depending on who it is. I've had experience that I've worked with friends and it was a nightmare. So I take on friend business per person. Like I evaluate it.
Because it's very casual for us. It's like, bro, I need you to shoot this for
Yeah.
me. And then you're like, I can't make it, or yeah, I can do it. And then we do it. And then I don't see the work forever. But I'm okay with that, right? No, I'm just kidding. He does great work. But you know what I mean? Like it's casual, but like with other relationships. So I get when I was in the car business, I got really nervous. Like I sold a car to one of my friends. I sold 2 cars to one of my friends. And every time I did it, I was nervous. Not the fact that she was going to have a bad experience, because obviously I was going to treat her well, but the fact that if anything goes wrong.
And that's why I traverse.
But she never made me feel that
carefully.
way. But I was very much like, I made sure that everything was set in, like everything was crossed my T's, dotted my I's, made sure everything was perfect so that wouldn't happen. And I gave her all the resources to say, hey, if there's an issue, these are the people that you reach out to. And it was perfect. Like the cars are great. You know what I mean? But
so one thing that I don't take on a lot of work.
Yeah.
But there's some work that I will absolutely not do for friends. A wedding is an example of that.
You wouldn't have done my wedding? I wouldn't have won. You were in my wedding, so it was kind of random.
Yours is different because we're close, but I'm talking about like an acquaintance or maybe a closer friend, a little bit closer than an acquaintance. I don't know. This is what I'm scared of, because weddings can be replicated. It's a one and done thing. There's already stress when it comes to weddings for a client that I don't know. So I already have that stress. Now add a friendship to it that can possibly be like get weird because I messed up and did a terrible wedding photo.
Got it.
So stuff like that, I'm like,
palm to sweaty.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Because going into a wedding, I'm already nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
Every time?
Yeah. Because there's so many variables that are out of my control and so many things that I have to capture regardless of it being out of my control.
That's fair. That's how I feel about public speaking, which is completely different than that. But I feel like that I get nervous every time I have to communicate in front of people.
Because you don't know what's going to happen. You're unsure.
Because you can have someone smiling or someone looking at you like, what is this dude saying? Yeah.
Or someone asks a weird question and you kind of like, all right, how do I pivot this?
Yeah.
How do I
get out of here? I tend to do that, right? I tend to answer random questions.
I mean, when I say random, it could be anything. Imagine you're talking about a product and someone's like, oh, I hate this. I've dealt with this before. I don't know how to do this. How do you... Oh, let's talk about it later.
I hate you. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, that's true. Like those random questions are like being able to like pivot effectively.
Yeah, it's important. So to answer your question, so I do take. It's a case by case basis when it comes to friends.
Depends on the relationship.
Yeah, some friends I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. Some friends will be like, are you sure? Some friends will be like, hey, contact. And most of the time, it's really because it's just not my forte.
You're
like I gotta ask Sunday for someone to do like senior photos. I don't mind. I can do it, but my buddy Gio does. He loves doing it. Yeah, and he does a great job. So
Gio's
I'm like, hey,
phenomenal. Shout out to Gio.
Yeah, I was like, contact Gio. Like Gio and Lucila, they'll take care of you guys.
Yeah,
that's the stuff they love to do. She was kind of confused about it. I'm like, listen, like,
I said I don't want to do it.
Yeah. No, I didn't say that because I don't want to do it.
Oh, fair enough.
I don't want to do it because I don't enjoy doing it. Like, I don't want to do work because I have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the interesting thing with your line of work is like you are passionate about photography, videography, but it just happens to be your job.
Yeah.
Your business. So like being able to say, okay, yeah, I need to make money, but I also want to do things that make my creative juices flow.
Yeah. I want to show up to a shoot and be inspired.
That's good.
Like a lot of the work that I do, I show up to the shoot and I'm just like, all right, let's just do this.
Because a lot of times too, like it's the cool thing is I think with us, like you say, hey, I want to try this. Brooklyn's for when Alicia was pregnant for Brooklyn, it was snowing. He was like, hey, randomly, you were like, hey, let's go. Yeah. And it was snowing. We were like, hey, I want to do this shoot. Like, you guys want to do it? We were like, yeah. We got ready in an hour. We went, and it was cool.
Yeah.
So you were able to be creative in something that you've never done before with friends, and you can't typically do that with like randos.
Yeah, like Shauna hit me up one time last year. She was like, hey, we want to do a picture in the snow.
Yeah.
Would you be down for that? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. She was like, would you be ready whenever it snows? I was like, listen, we see snow in the forecast. Shoot me a text message.
I'll make myself available.
I'll let you know like what time. And sure enough, it was like a random like Wednesday. It's like, oh, are you available? I was like, let's do it. Let's get together at 11. Yeah. And literally, like, it happened. She texted me like 8 a.m. We were in the mountains of Munson by 11 o'clock doing pictures. And
that's cool, man.
And it was good because the other thing about it, because I know you, because I know Shauna, it was quick. It was like, like you guys know what I do, so you guys just let it happen.
Yeah.
So
one game for it.
We were out there, 10 minutes? Not even
cold as heck, but it was quick.
I think it was less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it was cold.
Yeah,
Same thing with Shauna. I think the drive to Munson was longer than the actual shoot.
Yeah.
But those are the type of things that I'm like, I want to show up and be excited. I want to get out the car and be like, yes, I want to.
And I know we're talking about like business and like, but that's the power of relationships.
Yeah.
And having those people in your corner to say, hey, like I need you for this, and they show up no matter what.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're an entrepreneur or business owner, like you need to have that. Not to be successful. Yeah, no, to be successful.
Yeah, and community too.
Community is so key in everything that we do. From even if you businesses to relationships to, I think anything we read.
How do you cultivate a relationship or community in 2023? Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question, man. That's a good question. I think I feel like I'll speak for us. For us, it's easier because we're believers, right? We have a great church community that we're able to say that we all believe in the same thing. We believe in God. We believe in Jesus, right? We believe in all these awesome things. And we have like-minded individuals that not just on a Sunday, but every single day with small groups, things of that nature, we're able to build a community, right?
Yeah.
And let's say that is not your situation. I don't know. That's tough, man. I feel like social media, not necessarily, because I feel like that can be very superficial. Coffee shops. I don't know. I don't. That's tough because like I have a community in a place that exists already. Yeah. So like that's kind of how I.
So starting it from so you already joined into an existing community.
Correct.
So I mean, when I think of like cultivating a relationship or a community, it comes to like the back and forth, the conversation.
Yeah.
Like the hey, let me listen to what works for you, or how can I help you further your voice? The back and forth.
Yeah.
The vulnerability.
Yeah.
I think that's what helps build that up.
Yeah. And also to piggyback off of that is being able to be. What if you're not social, right? Because I can talk to a wall. I can talk to the Uber driver. That's easy for me. But that doesn't always mean that I'm relational. So understanding that concept too, like being just because you can communicate effectively doesn't mean that you're relational. So understanding that concept. But what if you are not relational? You don't like to talk to people. You're building a business. How do you build a community?
Man, you have to. So when it comes to business, you're gonna do things that you hate. Like I hate doing admin work, but I gotta get done. I gotta read these emails. I gotta send it out.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be a little bit that you're still gonna have to do, even though you're not social.
Yeah.
Like a buddy of mine is not a social person. He like my buddy Xander. He'll tell me, he's like, I'm not really like a talker like that.
Yeah.
I'm a listener.
Yeah.
But
he's a good listener, man. He's a great listener.
But
shout out to Xander.
But that only happens I've known Xander for almost all my life. And I know that. So I know that Xander's not a social person, but I know that Xander's loyal. I know Xander's going to show up to events if I need him to. He's going to do all the other things that cultivate a relationship. So if you're not a social person, one, I would say get out of your shell. You have to be at least somewhat social. Yeah. Especially if you're selling a product. I consider myself an introverted person, but I learned how to be an extrovert through the work that I was doing. So I know how to walk into a room and talk to people, but it feels like work to me. Once I get in the car, I'm quiet, I'm done. Like I'm like, all right, I'm extroverted out.
Yeah.
Which is wild. I do it well because I've had to learn it.
I can agree with it. I can agree with that too. Like I feel like I'm extroverted, but then also like I can be introverted, especially if I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I juggle between them both.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Depending on the situation that I'm in.
No, I think I've become more of an extroverted the older I've gotten.
Yeah.
I like being home. I like minding my business. If I don't have to talk to you, I won't talk to you. It sounds crazy.
I think it's
but I enjoy it.
To be able to have a relationship with people or a community of people that you're able to hang out at their house and not say a word. just be in the same space.
That's still a little weird.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Well, just being there like on your phone, just
Or watching
around
a
each other?
movie and like laughing and like there's like slight banter, but I mean like for the most part, like just chilling and
I
not
don't
saying
like
too much.
watching movies with people. Like at home.
I don't like watching movies with people.
At the movies.
Movie theater.
Well, it depends if they're talkers.
Yeah, and pretty much all
We got a talker.
we have a talker in the group.
He says he's not a talker.
He says he's not a talker.
You're
You talk-
definitely a talker.
You're a huge talker.
You're a talker and you be hitting the bathroom. You know who you are.
You know exactly who you are. Yeah. So I would prefer to go to the movies by myself 100% of the time. I'm okay with that.
You're an old man.
No, I think I just like.
I've done it a couple times. It's peaceful.
It's great.
peaceful.
Back in the day, I used to work in a movie theater. I was a supervisor at AMC back in Texas, and I would judge people that would go to the movies by themselves until I did it for the first time. I'm like, I'm in.
The first time I did it by myself, I was like, it was a little weird.
But it's fantastic.
It didn't work though because the movie sucked.
That's tough.
I left in the middle of the movie.
I went to see Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
By myself, and it was I was just like looking around. There was no one next to me. I was like, "Oh, this movie is so great." I just enjoy it. I don't want to talk when I'm watching a movie. Don't talk to me. Don't do it.
But when cultivating a relationship, you gotta talk.
Not in movies though.
Wherever it is.
Yes.
You can't cultivate a relationship at the movies though. So don't
Yeah,
go
you
to
can't.
movies.
Don't go to movies. But like when people on their first date, look, let's go. We went to the movies and dinner. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So to give someone that's not talkative maybe a point to like how do you cultivate a relationship as a introverted person? At the end of the day, you have to provide each other value. So let's say you don't want to talk to anyone. It's like, hey, how can I expand your business? Get to what it is.
Yeah.
If you don't feel like having to talk, just get to, hey, how can I help you expand your business?
Without being transactional either.
Yeah.
Learning how to provide value without being transactional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So when they'll tell you, referrals, and then ask more questions. Like, what do you mean? Like, what's a good referral look like for you?
Yeah.
And then
680 credit score.
Yeah.
With money in the bank. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but I say that jokingly, but I feel like in my business right now, a lead is a lead, and I'm grateful. I'm extremely grateful because it gives me an opportunity to build a relationship with a referral agent, and also build a relationship with a potential buyer that if they're not potentially ready to purchase a home, I can help facilitate them getting ready. And then when they do purchase a property, that's like yes, another one.
Yeah.
Like that's like not money making the commission, but like, yes, like another homeowner, like another person that's not having to pay a crazy amount of money or in rent. You know what I mean? So I don't feel like it's like a star.
It's a win.
It's a win. It's a huge win. Winners.
One of the things that I just want to say a disclaimer. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about, it could seem very like aggressive or very cutthroat. And it may sound like that because we're in the industry of like people, sales and stuff.
Yeah.
So like when we say stuff like, I don't mind that I didn't get the sale or that they used someone else. Like obviously we care about that stuff.
Yeah.
But we're giving you like a door, like a glimpse into the inside of what it feels to be like in sales or in business.
And a vulnerability component, because I feel like
that
most
word beat the brakes out of you.
it did vulnerability compatibility, like, and also being vulnerable in the fact that like not a lot of people would talk about this. You know what I mean? Like, and being okay with the fact that one, we're not for everyone. Two, you may lose a client, and that's okay. Not the fact that we lost a client's okay, but the fact that it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But also being I'm not gonna say it. I'm appreciating the fact that you're getting the opportunity.
Appreciative.
Yeah.
That's the word you were looking for?
Yes. Appreciating the fact that you got the opportunity and someone thought of you and gave you a lead or gave you an opportunity to help someone. I appreciate that. And yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and just work at it, man. Relationship, I think for me has been the biggest help. Not necessarily in the sales part of it, but in the community of like-minded people, whether it comes into being photographers, videographers, other business people, other, people that are like-minded for each thing that I'm interested in. Like I have people that I can sit down and talk to them about business. I have people that I can sit down and talk to them about, gaming. I have people that I can just talk about whatever.
It's all different.
It's all different.
It's all
and
different.
one thing that I learned as an adult is that there's a group for everybody. You just have to find it. Like as obscure and weird or like random, there's a group for everybody.
You ever like look at someone like, oh, they're hanging out with this person? You're like, that's random.
Yeah.
Or like they're building community with these people, and like that's random. But I don't think it's random. It's the fact that they have interests that you didn't know that they have interests, and then like they built a relationship with someone. You know what I mean?
The easiest way for me to visualize it is like, think of music. Music is so vast, and there's so many genres, so many like folk music.
Yeah. Country.
It's not my cup of tea, but I bet you if you like country music and you go to a country concert, you're going to have a great time because you're going to be with other like-minded individuals.
Yes. Yeah.
So now apply that same methodology to anything.
Yeah.
If you like Pokemon, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
just find
true.
your people, build with them, because once you find those people, you can exchange and hey, what works for you or whatever. It's all collaborative.
Yeah.
And you all grow together.
That's the goal, right? Is to grow together. I say something
to win.
Something that I live by is change, conflict, growth. Change, conflict, growth. Right?
Explain it.
So change, right? We all experience change in some way, whatever it can be, whether loss, gain, whatever. And in that change, there's always conflict. I don't mean like physical conflict, but like difficulties, opposition, uncomfortabilities. And then following that, it's always growth at the end of the tunnel. All right, we're grow
good.
from the different things that we learn from and the people that we learn from.
That's good.
So yeah, change,
I like it.
conflict, growth.
Well, guys, this has been another episode of the Winners Podcast. We're trying out this concept of just us two.
Just the two of us.
We're trying it for 2 weeks. See how it goes, how the numbers do. Hit us in the comments. Let us know what you guys think. We're still on the fence about it, but I like it.
Yeah, I think it was good, man. And also, like, hey, if you ever want to sponsor the podcast,
Sponsor it.
sponsor the
Hit us
podcast.
up.
Hit us up.
Peace, y'all.